A very good morning to you on this Easter Sunday. If you're back at the lake, if you're on the lake every day. But no, I have recorded these intros at the same time. I hope you have been enjoying your Easter weekend so far and having a lovely time. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Hana bracelet, which is using Superduo beads. Very easy bracelet again, very quick to make. And it gives you a beautiful herringbone style, a beautiful herringbone pattern. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Kitty and I just want to show you how to make this really lovely herringbone style bracelets. It's not based on herringbone stitch because we're only doing sort of a single row bracelets here with the Superduos, but it creates a really nice herringbone pattern. The stitch is really easy and it grows quite quickly. You can make it in a single color, or you can mix your colors up and do multicolor bracelets with them. I really do love them all. I'm going to show you in a video to do a multicolor, but if you want to do a single color, then you can just choose to do so with one Superduo. So the materials you're going to need, we're going to be using 3 different colors of Superduos. We're also going to need size 11 seed beads and a toggle clasp of your choice. Also using super long size D, I doubled up my thread. I've taken a couple of arm span. I did leave my bobbin on at the end, so later on if I need more I can just unreel it and start beading from there. So pretty much from the beginning we're going to use all 3 colors. I love these colors. These are sort of got a little bit of a matte finish to them, and I love mixing the purple with the navies and the blues. I just think it looks really good. So you're going to start by picking up, let me just take this out of the way. You're going to start by picking up 2 Superduos. Now, the only thing I make sure when I work with Superduos, I sort of turn the needle to myself and look through the holes of the beads, because maybe 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 you get a bead where the second hole is blocked by something, a little bit of dust or a little bit of glass shred or something in there, but it will block you to come back on it later on. So it's really good when you're working with 2 hole beads. So when you pick them up, just sort of have a quick look that all the holes are nice and clear to work with. Just slide both of those Superduos down on your thread. Then I'm going to pick up 2 size 11 seed beads. Locate where you're exiting out from your Superduo and come through the same Superduo but on the other hole. And when I pull this up, these are just going to sit. I'm going to suspend work on my finger. So I just wrapped the tail end around my index finger here, and I can really nicely and easily hold it suspended between my fingers. So then I'm going to move to the second color, but if you are using the same color, just carry on with the same one. Again, I picked up 2 Superduos, and then I'm going through the other Superduo which I picked up first towards my tail through the other hole, the free hole. And when I pull this up tight, you can see the 2 new Superduos. They're just going to sit in like the first 2, just housing this 2 really nicely. Now we're gonna pick up 2 size 11 seed beads. I'm gonna turn my work around because I like to work away from myself, and gonna go through the new Superduo I just added on the free hole. Gonna go back towards the center of my bracelet and pull that tight. Now I'm gonna move to my third color and pick up 2 of those. I'm gonna, as I created this little V shape here with my Superduos from the previous row, as I'm coming out of this one, I'm gonna go straight to the other side and go through the V hole on that one and pull this tight. And now we can see we got 3 little Superduos sitting on top of each other. Now I'm picking up another 2 size 11 seed beads, and I'm just gonna come through the ones I just added. I'm going to come through the free hole on that one. You're working from one side to the other side. Once I got a few steps, I'm going to let the tail end go, because now I got enough beads there, enough stitching there to be able to hold on to it nicely and tightly. I'm just going to repeat this until I get the right length for my bracelet. So just keep picking up 2 Superduos, go through the one on your bracelet, picking up 2 size 11s, coming back through. I suppose sometimes it's hard to keep a tight tension. So what you can do, I'm just going to pull this up. And if you see I haven't got a tight tension right at the end there, always go back a previous step. I'm just going to pull on these 2 seed beads, and you can see by pulling on those 2 seed beads, it will tighten up the row I'm coming out of. And then I'm going to hold the Superduos between my thumb and index finger, so they can't then move away from each other, and pull my tail end back, and that will really nicely tighten up my work. You want not a very tight tension, but a nice and even tension all the way through, because when we come back around the edges later on, we're going to tighten up the bracelet anyway. So keep on, carry on, and adding your Superduos and seed beads, zipping from one side to the other side all the way along until you get your desired length. And then I'm going to show you how to add the end, and we're going to turn around and fill our sides. So just keep going on adding your beads. coming to the end of my bracelet here. I have got enough. Don't forget the toggle clasp is going to add some length to your bracelet. So probably it's going to add another inch or so, depending on what size you use. I'm using this nice small little 10mm ones, but we're still going to lengthen our bracelet in a place to be able to have the toggle clasp working very well. Let me just pull this nice and tight. So I'm just adding the last 2 seed beads to the side what I need to add. And I don't want to add any more of any more length to my bracelet. So I just added the last 2 seed beads. As I'm coming out of my Superduo bracelet here, I'm just going to pick up the same color, but I'm only going to pick up 1 and go through the other side the same way as I would be going if I were still adding the stitches to my bracelets. So we just created a nice little picot edge here at the end. Now what we're going to do, we're going to weave up and around and add our clasp. So I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads, because the length between this end of the Superduo and the one at the top is a little bit bigger, so 2 seed beads will not do it. So I picked up 3, and I'm coming through the very edge, the very last single Superduo on the top of my bracelet. And now I'm ready to add my clasp. I'm just gonna move these Superduos out of the way, because I'm not gonna need them anymore. Only need the seed beads. Right, so now I'm going to pick up 5 seed beads, and then I'm going to go through the toggle, the T-bar, the loop on the T-bar of my toggle, and take this all the way down. Now I'm going to pick up another 2 seed beads, and I need to go back down through one of my beads. So I'm going to miss the 2 I added just before the loop. So if you got 5 seed beads here, I'm going to miss the first 2, and I'm just going to go through that 3rd one, the middle one. And when I pull this up tight, we're just going to create T-bar, the T-bar of the toggle is sort of caught between 2 seed beads on either side, and we're coming back through the 3rd seed bead. I'm going to pull this down so it's nice and tight against my bracelet. Then I'm going to pick up a further 2 seed beads, and I'm going to come back through the top of this, the very top Superduo on my bracelet. So locate where your thread is coming out before you are adding the clasp. You're going to have to come from the opposite side and go through that Superduo. And once we do this, this will then centralize our clasp. So if I turn it around and pull this nice and tight, you can see our clasp is going to sit nice and in the center. Now what we're going to do, we're going to run down on one side, add the clasp on the other side, and come back up on the other side of our bracelet. So as you're coming out of this Superduo, pick up 3 seed beads, and you're going to go all the way along the edge. We're not going to go through the Superduos, just the 2 seed beads added on the side of the Superduo. And we're going to repeat this all the way down. So every time we're picking up 3 seed beads and just going through the next 2 in our row. This will create the lovely edge of our bracelet and pull the whole bracelet together. So if your tension was a little bit looser, this will tighten it up. So every single time, just pick up 3 size 11 seed beads and go through the next 2 on the edge of your bracelet, running all the way down. the last 3 seed beads here, coming through the last 2 seed beads on my bracelet. Now I could go straight into my clasp, but what I like to do is to go through the top, the last 2 super duos, so this way the clasp will be joined to the super duos as well as the seed beads. So I just came through the last 2 super duos. I'm then going to pick up 5 seed beads, 1 2 3 4 5, and then go through the loop on the toggle clasp itself. Take this all the way down, take it all the way down. Again, I'm gonna pick up another 2 seed bead. I'm gonna discard the first 2 just after the loop, and then I'm gonna go through the third one, which is the middle one just there, and pull this up tight. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up another 2 seed bead and come through those 2 super duos at the top the same way I just did, centralizing my toggle clasp at the top there. I mean, that one, this side is secure as well. Then I'm going to turn my bracelet around and I'm going to run down all the way on this side, adding the 3 seed beads where they are missing. And I do like to go up and down my bracelet a couple of times if I got extra thread there. The more you go through, the more straighter these side beads are going to sit, and your bracelet obviously is going to be stronger. I do like to go through the thread path where I created the clasp to make that stronger as well, because that's going to have the most stress on there when you're trying to do it and undo your toggles. Got in a, don't let your threads tangle up, and that's it. Yes. So I do like to flip-flop my work. I always like to work away from myself. So now I'm going back down on this side, filling up all the beads. So as I said, you can make them in many different colors, or you can do 1 color, you can do 2 colors, you can even do a rainbow color. That would look really good as well. It's up to you the pattern you can create, or you can have one side 1 color and the other side another color as well. But I just love, because these bracelets come together really quickly. They're really easy, very relaxing to do. So carry on until you get down to the other end, and then we're going to go through the thread path of the clasp again. My last 3 seed beads in here, and I'm gonna go through those 2 and all the way up to the top and around my clasp. So just make it more stronger, just like go around every single bead through the loop. Then I'm going to turn my bracelet around and come back down. Just like that. Now I do like to, as I said, to run down all the way one more time, but you can sew your end off if you like here. I think sometimes I like to overdo some of my bracelets, because my son is a little bit older now, but when he was really little, he always used to tug on my bracelets, on my necklaces, earring, anything I was wearing. He would be trying to pull it off. So I started to go through everything, I guess, just to make them stronger. So I'm just going to run all the way down on this side, because I still got plenty of thread left here. So you can see when you go through your beads the second time, it just makes it nicer and straighter as well, giving you a nicer and neater edge. So you can make a really nice and straight edge. You just really pays off to run up and down on it one more time. And at the top as well, I'm just going to turn around and I'm going to tie the end off. I'm going to use a technique called a 1 thread knot. I'm just going through the last few beads now. I'm going to take my thread bar through the clasp to strengthen that side as well. When you're doing something like this, you're going backwards and forwards on your beads quite a lot. It pays off to have a little bit longer needle, because you can go through so many beads at the same time. If you use a shorter needle, obviously you still need space to push them or pull them through. But if you got a longer needle, you can go through many more beads at the same time. So I'm right at the top. I'm just gonna go up and around. My clasp, go through those 2 seed beads, through the loop, and coming back down on the other side. Through that middle seed bead. Now, the more you go through these seed beads, it sometimes can get a little bit tight. If it gets too tight, don't force your needle through it, because you can break that bead. But if you're this one is nice and easy still, but if your needle does get stuck a little bit and you need to pull it through, but you haven't got enough strength in your hand to pull it through, take your scissors. Every scissors got a point where the 2 handlebars meet, and I just insert my needle in there just like that, hold on to my bracelet, and I can pull the needle through easier and quicker. You could do with a pair of pliers as well, but with the pliers I find that you put much more stress on there, much more strength, and it can break the needle, or it can break your bead easier. So if you just do it with the top end of your scissors, it will just give enough to be able to pull it through, but not too much so you bend it. Right, so I'm just going to take it down a few more beads. So I'm not knotting it right up next to my clasp. So I'm going to do 1 thread knot. It's actually called a half hitch knot as well. So I'm gonna go between my seed beads and my Superduo bead, and I'm gonna catch the thread. I want to catch the thread, not the bead, between those 2 beads. Now, as I'm pulling my thread through, you can see these loops forming. Before this loop would disappear, I'm gonna take my needle through it. And as I'm pulling this side, you can see there's a little knot is going to form on the top of our thread. Then I'm going to take it through a few more beads, and I'm going to repeat it one more time, catching the thread right underneath there, pulling this through. Before this loop disappears, going through a loop and pulling it tight, forming a knot as we go along. Then I would never cut my thread off right next to my knot. I'm going to take it through a few more beads and then cut it off. When I'm cutting it off, I'm going to pull the thread up with one hand. I'm going to take the scissors, position it on the top of my bracelet, and slightly push down with my scissors so I can get a really nice and close finish, and I'm not going to have any tails. So that's it, how easy. And then I'm going to thread my needle and work that end off. But that is really how easy to make these wonderful bracelets. You can do so many different color combinations, or you can have them plain and one color as well. It's really up to you. You can come up with so many different designs. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon.